This is maple syrup.
We are here to show you the life of Canadian immigrant, the daily struggle, lifestyle, and how we adapt to Canadian culture. And you can decide if you should immigrate to Canada. Hey guys, today we want to talk about 3 laws that actually gonna help you navigate your life in Canada. I wish I know this before, I move here, practically, because this is a very important information and this will help you in the long run as, if you're coming here as an immigrant or if you're a young adult who's just starting off your life. These are some of the things that you definitely need to know and they won't teach you in school. I can guarantee you that. So stay tuned. And if you like the channel, subscribe, my friend. Subscribe to my channel so we can keep making these contents. Tell us what you want to know. Again, my expertise is in marketing and sale. So if you have any of those questions, you're a young adult wanting to know if your boss is supposed to be doing this, or if you are in management and you want to know, hey, what's the best way to manage or create a sales or marketing team, hit me up. We can talk. And before we get started, remember to subscribe, like, and comment down below. And this is 3 Canadian law that you should be aware of. Do you know being a common law in Canada is almost like being married? But what is being a common law partner? It depends where you are. Each province have different definition and different regulation. But to summarize, if you're living together for 1 to 3 years and you're over the age of 18, you have a child with your spouse and you have a marriage-like relationship with one partner, you're probably gonna be considered common law. If you're in BC, Alberta, Manitoba, and Saskatchewan, the common law relationship has similar right as a marriage with a minor difference. If you're separated from your common law partner, you're probably gonna be split 50-50, just like marriage. You and your partner also can ask for spousal support. However, if you're in Nova Scotia, Ontario, New Brunswick, Quebec, Newfoundland, and PEI, common law and marriage relationships still have some differences. You're not automatically gonna get 50-50 in terms of properly splitting. Think of this more like a business separation. Whatever you bring into the relationship is yours to take back. However, let's say you help out with mortgage, and let's say you help out with enriching another person. Let's say you're paying for car payments, credit card loans. In that case, you can actually claim those. But keep in mind, it's not gonna be automatic. You have to claim those. And this is called constructive trust claim. Depending on where you are, you might be able to claim spousal support as well, but those are rare. So keep in mind, if you're a single guy, a single girl, and you decide to go into a common law relationship in Canada, or you decide to move in together, you are gonna have to take that responsibilities. So yeah, being in a common law relationship in Canada have more similarity with being married. If you are a young adult and not ready for a long-term relationship, don't move in with your girlfriend or boyfriend. It's a big responsibility and you need to think twice before making that decision. You're not allowed to use gun as a self-defense weapon in Canada. The term as much force as reasonably necessary is the key here. Before we talk about firearm, we need to understand what is allowed as self-defense in Canada. Let's say someone ran up to you and stole your purse. You are allowed to run up and try to take it back, but you're not allowed to punch the guy or strike or causing any bodily harm to that person. And you definitely don't want to use that martial arts skill that you've been practicing for the last 10 years because you're gonna be in more trouble than the guy who stole your purse. So keep that in mind. So what can you do? Citizen arrest. You can detain that person. Let's call him a theft, right? You can detain that thief until the police arrive. And let's say that person decide to fight you, you say, hey, I'm gonna do a citizen arrest, stop where you are, right? And he turn around and try to fight you. You can defend yourself. And again, the key word here is as much force as reasonably necessary. So if you use his fist, that's the only thing you can do too. You don't want to pull out, if you have a pocket knife, don't pull out your pocket knife, right? You might be able to wave it around, but you don't want to stab the guy. You don't want to hurt the guy, right? Even though he's trying to hurt you. If he's only have a fist, then you're gonna be in a fist fight. Let's do another example. If someone break into your house and you happen to have a gun, and you decide to use that gun, you better be ready to justify why you use it. If the person who broke in doesn't have a gun and you shot him, you're going to get charged with something like a manslaughter or attempted manslaughter, which is not something you want to do. So to summarize, self-defense in Canada are pretty tricky, especially with firearm. You can get a firearm to do a target practice. If you like to hunt, you can get the rifle to hunt, but those weapons are strictly for recreation. It's not something that you want to use against another human being in any circumstances in Canada. This is very different than in US. If you walk into somebody else's yard in US, he can shoot you and he can probably get away with it. Not in Canada. It's a big difference. And in a lot of countries, it is a big difference as well. So self-defense in Canada, again, can't stress this enough. The key word is as much force as reasonably necessary. You are as reliable as a security guard or cop who decide to arrest you. If you're not resisting, they're not supposed to hurt you. If they do, they will face the consequence. Now, I know with this climate, those are not what happened, but as a citizen, not a cop, they're gonna treat you very differently here. So be aware. An employer in Canada can fire you without proper cause. Can. C-A-N. If you have been working outside Canada and you're a young adult, you might not know that a Canadian employer can just fire you because they don't like you or simply they need to cut some costs. However, they do need to compensate you in Canada. If they fire you without cause, they need to give you 1 to 2 week notice at least, and roughly 1 to 2 month severance. Now, it depends on how long you've been working for the company, when are you hired, what does your pay structure look like. To a lot of Canadians, this seems like common sense, but keep in mind, common sense is not common. In a lot of countries, if your boss doesn't like how you look, he'll fire you, and you probably don't get anything from it. So that's the main difference. This leads to you also might not be self-employed. In Canada, employment's regulations are pretty strict. However, that doesn't mean an employer is not going to try to take advantage of you. And this is a common practice in a lot of employment workplaces, where they hire you as self-employed, but they treat you as an employee. How can you spot this? If you have a subordination relationship with your boss, and the employer controls when and how the work is carried out, and when you get paid, how often, and how the work is carried out, that's one of the things that you want to look for. So if your boss say, hey, you have to come in at this time, and the work needs to get carried out this way, then that's first clue that you are not self-employed. Now, this is a big topic, so it might get a little bit complicated. If you have a question, leave it down in the comments, and I'll try to clarify as much as possible. Now, if the employer tell you how the work needs to be done, if you're self-employed, the way you work should be up to you, right? The hour that you're meeting your clients, if you want to subcontract your work to somebody else, this up to you as a self-employed person. Now, if your boss decide what kind of job you would do, right? As a self-employed person, you're supposed to be able to carry your job your way, right? If he say that, hey, this is how it works, you need to meet with this client at this time, that's not up to him to decide. It's up to you as a self-employed worker. The employer chose to listen to you, but the ultimate decision lies up to him. That's a major flag that's saying that you are employee, not self-employed. And if you have a schedule, a set schedule from the company, they say, hey, you have to come in the company at 8 o'clock and you can clock out at 9. These are another flag that tells you you are an employee. So if all of this combined and you're checking all that list, you're probably not a self-employed person. And this have a major consequence, because as an employee, you're entitled for that CPP, EI, overtime, and that wrongfully dismissal, right? So if you're self-employed, the employer can come to you and say, we want to cancel that contract. If they don't have a reason, they don't need one. But if you're employee, they need a reason. Otherwise, they need to pay you that severance. And the best thing to do at that situation is you need to contact CRA for a ruling. Alright guys, I hope this 3 law helped you navigate your way in a workplace in Canada, or even in a real relationship. If you want a girlfriend, but you don't want to take all that responsibility, don't move in with her. Or if you have a boyfriend, but you don't want to pay for his credit card bill, at the end of the day, you probably don't want to move in with him. Now, for workplace information, keep in mind, I'm not a lawyer, but I did work as general manager for a certain place, and this is a thing that I deal with every day. So I think I can say a little bit, but don't use this as legal advice. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just informing you of what is your right. What can you do? What can you do? And if this applies to you, if you think you're not a self-employed person, the best thing for you to do is act as soon as possible. Don't wait for it, because the longer you wait, the smaller chances you're gonna have for claiming what is owed to you. And this is one of the mistakes I made as well. I was inexperienced, to say the least. So I hope this helped you, and if it does, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you all in the Great White North. Bye.